Hello, 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 and welcome to Space of Possibilities and a belated. Today is technically the 21st of February, but I must see if I can go live a couple of times today because Saturday was full on Shabbat and I'm not in my place. So I'm at the whim of Wi Fi and other people. How does it get any better than that? So, um, today I'd like to hop to one of my favorite books in Snippets and Possibilities, by the way. Just in case I didn't introduce myself, and this is your first time hopping in, my name is Rachel Silber. I am an Access Consciousness facilitator, amongst other things, and a lover of the tools of Access Consciousness, the books of Access Consciousness, the manuals, conversations. These are tools that have contributed immensely to my life. And I'm not carrying a lot of physical books with me on the trip. So I reached over to my Kindle version of The 10 Keys to Total Freedom by Gary Douglas and Dr. Dane here. And this is the beginning of the book. My daughter was in a circus stretching class. Oh, and I made it to a bars exchange yesterday. That was so awesome. Haven't been to a bars exchange in forever. So how does it get any better than that? That was awesome. Anywho, this particular snippet, and it's going to be a couple of snippets, comes from Would an Infinite Being Truly Choose This, which is the first key of the 10 keys to total freedom. And this book is based on a telecall series that Gary and Dane did called, oddly enough, the 10 keys to total freedom. And it's fantastic. You can find the telecall in the Access shop. You can find the book on Amazon or on the Access shop, and it's brilliant. But anyway, this is a conversation because this is essentially transcribed. Gary says hello and all, and he says, tonight we're going to talk about the first key. Would an infinite being truly choose this? We invite you to ask this question many times a day in response to the situations that come up in your life. It will remind you that you always have a choice because you're an infinite being. Well, let's start out by talking about what an infinite being is. Because, in all honesty, when I read this book, when I listened to the telecall, quite a few years ago when it first came out, like 2013 or 12 or I don't know, whatever it was. This whole concept of, infinite being, it must be, like the spiritual thing of, not the body, but the being. And I've been around plenty of religious people who celebrate the spirit or the spiritual side, but they're not looking at what is an infinite being. So Gary invites us. Let's start out by talking about what an infinite being is. Dane, this is a conversation between the two of them and class participants. Most people have no idea what an infinite being is. They don't even have a concept, even when we talk about it, because where do you see it showing up in this reality? You don't see it anywhere. The best you can do is create a fantasy of what an infinite being would be. But that's not what an infinite being is. So under those conditions, when you don't know what an infinite being actually is, you don't have the choice to be one. So anywhere and everywhere, we've let go of the possibility of being an infinite being, of recognizing and acknowledging, because we are an infinite being, but of actually recognizing, embracing it, acknowledging it, including it in our lives. Anywhere and everywhere, we haven't been willing to be that and do that because we have no clue what is an infinite being. Yeah, and all of that other stuff, would you destroy and uncreate it, please? Right, wrong, good, bad, all nine, pod, poc, shorts, boys, and beyonds. And those funny words are listed down below. Theclearingstatement.com will give you an explanation if you don't know. A lot of people think that an infinite being wouldn't need a body, but that isn't it. You have to get that you, as an infinite being, and this is so cool, you chose to have a body. You chose to be embodied. Oh, sorry, I skipped a bit. Gary says, the way I personally understood infinite being was by meditating to see how far outside of my body I could go in all directions. If you've never played with this before, I would encourage you to start putting your awareness out, on the body, and then maybe, as far as the edges of the room that you're in. I'm outside, so it's, further, and see if you're still aware of you going further than that, and further than that, and further than that. Maybe one day I'll do like a little meditation thing of that, but it really is instantaneous when you're willing to choose it. And when you recognize that, there's no place that you're not really. When you begin to put your awareness on how far out you're aware of so much more than you've ever realized before. It's pretty amazing. So you have to get that you, as an infinite being, made an active choice. You chose to be embodied. You have chosen to be embodied since the beginning of time. You chose to have the kind of body that you have, and you chose everything that's going on in your life. An infinite being is one who chooses. And how often do we meet people, or how often are we people who rebel against being who we be? Oh, I'm still wearing my daughter's necklace. I took it off for gym yesterday. It's the little, that's the little entity, the talk to the entities entity, and that's her favorite necklace that she wears all the time. But if you look at that, an entity is also not in a body, but still an infinite being. Right? An entity is also out there, is also aware, and is also choosing, and may choose to get into a body as well. That's what we choose. We choose to experience this reality. Now, first of all, I'd like us to look at something. We have to get that we choose. We chose to come in this set of circumstances, in this time, in this place, with the genetic material or the family or the challenges that we have taken on. We have all of this in us, with us, around us, because we chose it. Okay. And this is huge. And this is probably where I'm going to leave us today, rather than reading on maybe the second video, which will be like day 20 belated, will be the idea of the rest of the ideas beyond it. But if you look at, if we chose to show up in the type of skin that we have, in the culture that we've showed up in the height, and in the all the endowments, all of the endeavors and the challenges and everything else that we've set up for ourselves, we chose it. Who knows why? Who knows when? But whatever we did, we chose that. So what would it take for us to recognize that as the choosing ones of our life and living, first of all, we're not at the effect of anything. It's not like I chose it once and then that's it. That's the only thing I can choose. As an infinite being, one of your innate capacities is to choose. And your ability is to change, choose, change, choose, change, choose, change. You can do that all the time. And so when you do that all the time, you've got more possibilities available to you beyond the, oh my God, there's something wrong with me because my hair isn't curly, and I'd like it to be curly because I love curly haired people and I'm not that. You chose to show up as you've showed up. You chose to have the characteristics that you have. You can choose more. You can choose other, but not against what you've chosen so far. So what would it be like to, first of all, recognize that we are infinite beings, and to recognize that infinite beings don't judge much. Infinite beings are aware of a whole lot. So what would it take for us to step into that choosing, into that potency, into that knowing that as an infinite being, what else is possible that we've never ever considered before? And I will see you later today with my made up from yesterday. And how does it get any better than that? Thanks, y'all. See you later, alligator.